let's just sew whatever. All right, we are gonna get started on cutting out our Sarah backpack. I'm really excited. I'm using all leather for this. I think it's gonna be really cool. It's kind of fun because this leather is one that I made my old Sarah backpack out of. So I'm just kind of excited to throw it back. There are coloring pages included. So I was kind of thinking, I have colored pencils somewhere, let me grab them. Kind of thinking the green, I don't want to use 3 colors altogether. I don't know that I'll enjoy the way that looks. So I'm just gonna kind of sketch it out. These colors aren't exact, but that's okay. So I was thinking I want to use this for the flap, the flowers. Kind of place that. I have the other pattern piece somewhere, but I'll cut out the new one. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do like green, green, pink. I know I want the flap to be the pink, so we can kind of color that in. And of course, on your printer, you can pick just one page to print several times if you want to like plan out a bunch of them. Oh, I do think I want the pink grab handle. Yeah, that's cute. But now I'm like green, green, pink. Green. I do have this like burgundy color I could use, but I think it'll just be too busy. So green bottom. And then I think I'll have enough of the flowers. I could always paint more on this bag too when I'm done making it, so that could be fun. If you watched my leather painting video, I added the sealant to this one, but you can see the edge of it, so I don't think I'm gonna add it, and I like scraped at this and I couldn't get it off, so I think it'll be okay. So yeah, we'll add the flowered flap. Maybe I could do the green up top. Yeah, I think that would work. And then do the pink here again. Yeah, I think that'll be cute. Okay, so that's the plan. It kind of helps you stay focused. And then there's also a fabric guide, etc. And then there's the cut chart that I'm gonna pull out. This will help me, well, test it for one, but make sure I have everything I need. I'm gonna grab a clip to hold this together and then we'll get started on cutting. I am not gonna be interfacing any part of this bag, kind of staying true to the original instructions. It just didn't seem to need it. Okay. So I have my flap out of thicker cardstock, which is going to help a lot. So I'm going to get started on cutting that out. This is, this and the lining are really the only pattern pieces I'm going to cut out. If you are making the handbag version, You can still add the flap, but it's not necessary. Technically, it's not necessary to add the flap to the backpack, but it looks really nice. So your pattern piece is going to have a little more information than mine, but the size is the same. The general cut size is given on the pattern piece if you need to know how big you need it to be, but it doesn't account for the curve. Kind of tempted to like make a little fussy cut guide out of this. It'll be fun. Oh, I need to cut out that box. You could cut this piece on the fold, but I think it's really nice to have the full piece. A lot of the other pieces are on the fold, so if you would prefer them to not be on the fold, you can just print them twice. And then you'll just line up these pieces, tape them together. All right, and then this is our lining piece. We're not going to need it till much later, but I may as well just cut it out now. All right. Oh, this leather is just so beautiful. So I know this is going to be a really drapey bag. It's not going to have a lot of structure. So if you are making this bag and you want a lot of structure, just cut your interfacing out of the seam allowance. So just like 3/8 of an inch is the seam allowance, but I would do an inch smaller on all sides. So let's say the exterior back middle is 16 by 5. You're going to want to cut your stabilizer to 15 by 4 and interface it so it's like right up against the seam allowance and you're not sewing through it. Okay, I think I might kind of lay it like that. So that way I still have plenty, yeah, for the center panel. I'm kind of cutting off that, which is sad, but I'm not really sure how else it would work. And those weren't the greatest anyway. It's okay. All right. Well, now or never. If you received the project box, the Sew Whatever project box with this pattern first access, you're going to get a ruler that is the exact size of the piece you need to cut. So it's going to be the 5 by 16. I don't have that ruler with me yet, but I have this 5 by 14 that's helping me kind of decide what and where to cut. So I would recommend tracing and cutting out your flap first, and then worrying about the zipper box, because for the cleanest you can, you might want to use a rotary cutter and ruler. I'm just gonna slowly lift up. Oh, it's perfect. I love how it's kind of falling that way. Okay. And the bag is gonna have such a different look in this drapey leather. I can't wait. And just be careful you go slow and you don't stretch your material. This leather was on clearance, so it really wasn't expensive at all, in case you're like, why would you just cut into the middle of it, you monster? I really don't need to skive this. It is really thin enough. So that is the flap, and if you don't want to add a zipper pocket, you don't have to, but it is really helpful. It fits your phone right in there, so it's kind of nice to have the option available. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside until I've got more pieces cut out and I can clean up the space. I do have a 2-inch wide ruler. I was like, I wish I had that so I didn't have to switch rulers. Okay. So if this is going to be my front, I have to remember that the front middle is actually cut shorter to allow for our zipper pocket. It's not much shorter, but I just want to make sure I say it out loud. So I've given myself actually a little more wiggle room, and I'm centering that 2 inches on either side of like no design technically. I may even be able to use these as my strap connectors. That'd be so cute. All right. So again, I know that I'm cutting it a little bit bigger than I need it at the moment, and that's okay. Okay, I'm lining up my ruler. Just trying to go really careful to not overcut. All right. So now I can switch. Look at all that leather fluff. What'd you call me? All right. So now I know my piece is the right size. Just cut that away. It's gonna be so cute. Oh my gosh. I don't have a lint roller. And then on your cut chart as well, you can tape what you need to cut. I'm using packing tape, and then I can use an Expo marker to just slowly tick mark off. So I just cut out my exterior front middle and one of my flaps, one of my backpack flaps from my exterior. So now we can move down the row. If I'm doing the handle backpack, I'm doing the backpack version, I'm gonna need one handle. That is 16 by 2. Which is great. Got this straight edge right here that shouldn't mess with anything else, and I can cut that. Okay, 14, and then I just need 2 extra inches. And then we can mark down the center of our handle and tape it. And what's fun is the tape is going to kind of take away any of that stretch. I'm using 1/2 inch wide double-sided tape. You can also use 1/8 inch wide on either side of that line, but I'm just going to set this aside for now. That is our one handle. I'm going to cross off the handles for the handbag version because we don't need it, but there's my handle for the backpack version. Oh my gosh, this would have been cute as a handle. I can use it for connectors, that's right. All right, so working my way down, there's the crossbody top and the crossbody bottom. I think instead of making the double-sided strap, well, I might be able to still. I was gonna say I might use webbing instead, because you can totally just use webbing. But it's so hard to cut leather into a crossbody strap. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I do kind of have a straight edge here, so maybe it's not impossible. It's just so heavy. Luckily with leather, depending on the thickness, etc., like you may not notice if it's a little crooked. Okay, but we're gonna cut this to 2 inches wide. This will be my bottom. And if it's not completely straight, you can actually cut it a little wider and then trim it down after. But I'm stopping my ruler, sliding it up, keeping it as straight as I can, sliding up a little higher, and there you go. Definitely requires a cutting table. It is difficult. So you can keep that laying flat and then try to cut on the other side, or I don't know that I'd recommend this, trying to flip it. Okay. Okay, got that lined up with the 2. Just go slow. Make sure you're adding pressure to your ruler as you're cutting so that your layers don't shift. Make sure your rotary cutter is sharp. I'm gonna be covered in leather dust. Ask me if I'm mad about it. I'm not. All right. All right. Then you can mark the center if you want. I'm just gonna eyeball this tape down the middle. If you're using leather, you could honestly use this method to create a 1-inch strap without adding anything on top and just top stitching all the way down so that it's not super thick. A lot of people do that. Also think this strap is super long, but I'm not mad about it. So I'll contemplate what I want to do as far as the top for it. We'll find out. But for now, I have my crossbody strap bottom. So now we have strap connectors, our zipper pocket overlay for the lining, and our exterior top. And my exterior top is going to be green, so I'm going to wait on that. My exterior back middle. I do need to cut this. And then I think I may, no, I don't want my base out of this. It'd get dirty. Okay. Let's see. So I know I've got a fairly straight edge here. So I can cut my middle. And then you can mark this on the back, and you can say like back mid. All right, back middle. All right, I think I will do pink for my connectors. I wrote this so that it wouldn't matter which one you were making, you were still going to need the same amount of strap connectors. However, I don't think I would use this as a crossbody, so I'm not going to cut 6. I'm just going to cut 4. So 2 are going to be hidden strap connectors in the back panel, and then 2 you'll see on the back. And you can go ahead and tape down the center of these as well. Trying to like cut it so I can still see the flower. I made this little 2x4 ruler for SME last year, tennis SME I think, and I didn't think I would ever run it as a normal ruler. But after I found it again down here, I was thinking like, oh, maybe I should. All right, 2 more of these. Leather is also like thinner in some spots, so if you need it to be thinner, you could kind of feel around. And I just really don't see myself carrying this as a crossbody at any point. So since I know that, I can make that choice and omit it. You can also brainstorm a different way of making this into a backpack if you'd like, but I didn't want to create a ton of options because you know how I get. So I just wanted it to be as simple as possible. All right. So strap connectors finished. I'll cut my zipper pocket overlay out of this as well. Let's find a good spot. I like to use my 2.5 by 12 ruler for the overlay, but if you have a preference, you can use a zipper pocket overlay ruler or a template, whatever you'd like. So it's going to be 2 by 10. I've got this nice straight edge here. So you're going to see like 3/4 of this. I don't have another piece that'll matter, so I'm just going to use this here. But you won't see a ton of what's going on, but it will be a good test to see if you'll see it in the end. All right, so I've cut it a little bit bigger on purpose. I knew that I did that. I'm going to cut it from this side, 2 by 10. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over and mark 3/4 of an inch on either side of the short end. And you want a line you're going to be able to see really well. Okay. So we're going to line this up. And then starting as close to that line and ending at the other line. And then just very slowly, carefully cut up to that line and try to make one little snip across. Oh, that's precious. And then I could use this as a zipper pull. I always say I'm going to, and then I never do, but maybe I really will. No. I prefer to use 1/8 inch wide double-sided tape, but I'm going to go ahead and use 1/4 this time because it's right here. But this is going to help take away the stretch until I get to it. Okay. Perfect. Now, we've got our exterior top, which is going to be the green, so I'll wait. And the exterior bottom, again, the green. Base is going to be the green. Zipper tabs. These are 2.5 by 12. No. What? Oh, perfect. All right, we've got our zipper tabs. If you want to, we're gonna need to mark out on the back side a 1-inch line on all of those. You could do that now, you could do it later. Keeping them in there so I don't lose them. I don't need that anymore. And that was our zipper tabs. So I think that's pretty much everything we're gonna need out of this pink leather. I don't want to use this on my lining top. I'm just gonna use all waterproof canvas for that, or I'm never gonna be able to sew through it all. So I'll set that aside for now. We didn't cut our flap zipper pocket, so we can go ahead and do that now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay my pattern piece down. And just really carefully, without pulling or stretching, trace that out. Voila. And you wanna use a straight edge if you can. I'm gonna start with the bottom one, and this should be 8 inches by 1/2 inch. Give or take. And then again, just slowly cut, carefully cut, snip across to match. And then I can use a lighter on the wrong side to help with all that fuzz. There we go. Again, save that for a zipper pull if you want. Beautiful. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I'm gonna add the tape to help it prevent stretching. Alrighty. Hopefully we have enough. Yeah, we're good. This one is definitely a stiffer, more structured leather, which isn't bad. It'll be good to have at the bottom and the top. And then we're gonna be adding zipper pockets and lining to help reinforce the pink anyway, so I am not worried about it. So now we need to cut the exterior top and the exterior bottom. These pieces are the same size, you just have to account for the cutout. And then if you would like to, you can even start clipping some of these pieces together. So like this will be my top. Here's my medium. At least for the back panel, you can do this. You could even tape these together so that your layers aren't stretching. But if you're taping it together, it's going to be harder to press your seams open, so keep that in mind. Okay, thinking I can get my base out of this in a minute. Oh, that might actually be a good spot for the base. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Okay, base. I love this big texture right here. So we have 3 more middle panels to cut. And since they're 5, okay, we should be good. Okay, there's 2 more. I think this I'm gonna have as a bottom on the front. Oh, I do need to skive this one. I forgot. Okay, so I need base, tops, and this is a bottom. We need 1 more bottom with the corner cutouts. That's a bottom. This is all scrap. I actually do have a drawer for all my leather scraps. So I don't have a good straight edge right now, so what I'm gonna do is cut 2 straight edges. Come over here, cut 1, and then cut the last. Okay. I think I'm gonna skive and then I'm gonna cut it out, but I'll know that these are my bottoms. So it's gonna be a 2 by 1/2 inch corner cutout. But I think that is it for our exterior fabrics. Everything else is gonna be lining. Okay, I forgot to show that I did cut out the backside of the backpack flap. I was looking around and I realized I hadn't, so I cut that out super quick. So I'll just kind of clip all that together. I did skive all of my leather. It turned out perfect. I did nick one side, but I just cut my corner out of it. But yeah, I'm excited to actually use my skiver. I know how to use it. I just don't have time. So, yay. I am going to be using water-resistant canvas for the lining. I don't want this bag to have like a ton of internal bulk, or really, I don't want a ton of structure, but if you're wanting one more structured, use waterproof canvas for your lining. You could also use kind of a combination of both, but like for my flap, I don't want anything too thick, and then for my front zippered pockets, I don't want anything too thick. So water-resistant canvas is going to be perfect for that. So I've got a yard here of, what did we call this color? I don't remember, but it's such a gorgeous color. If you've not used our water-resistant canvas, the back side scratches white, so that's how you know what the wrong side is. I'm gonna start with my lining, bigger pieces, and I can use my 13 by 13 ruler for this. Fold it in half. We can look at our lining main and see. So we're gonna cut this on the fold at 8. And this does have a little corner cutout, 2 by 1/2 inch. And then if you want, while you've got it folded in half, you can make a little notch on the top and the bottom. You're not really gonna need the bottom notch, but doesn't hurt to add it. So there's one main lining. We're gonna need 2. So I cut a little extra off the other one at the bottom because my edge wasn't straight, but now that I have a straight edge, I don't need to cut off any excess. Oh, that was a rookie mistake, but not a big deal. Just kind of cut it at an angle. It'll still fit. But what I'm gonna do is line that up so that I know where the 2 inches for what should have been. Yeah, I'm off by like 1/8 of an inch. Totally okay. Now the lining of this bag only has 1 zippered pocket, so if you want to add any other kind of pocket or add 2 zipper pockets, you can do that. But I don't think I'm gonna add any other pockets. So there's that. That's our lining main. I can go ahead and cut my lining top while I'm at the same exact measurement. Now I would recommend using a lightweight vinyl or your cork or something a little more structured for that if you'd like. But I'm using this thick leather. I'm not going to need any additional bulk in that seam. So there's that. Zipper panel, etc. You see, yeah, perfect. All right. So a note on this lining piece here. One piece is going to be shorter than the other in the end. And sure, you could start by cutting them offset by the width of the zipper tape, but it just gets confusing on what is top and bottom for me. So instead, I've cut them the exact same size and we're gonna trim it down in the end. So that's our lining flap piece. And again, that's only if you're making the backpack version. And now we just have a couple more cuts and we're done. Don't need these anymore. And there are pattern pieces included for all of these rectangles I'm cutting, if you'd like to use those. But I've designed such pretty rulers that I've gotten pretty good at using them because they make me happy. All right, exterior front zipper pocket is a pretty big piece. And this is another one of those scenarios where one is going to end up a little bit different in size than the other when you fold it down, but I like to use that excess to help stabilize the bag. Whew. Okay, 12. Okay, I'm cutting out all of my zipper panel pieces. If you would prefer to use a contrasting fabric and a lining fabric, you are welcome to do that. But I wanted to write it with using as little bulk as possible. And the zipper panel is so small, we're not gonna need any interfacing in it. But again, if you're using like a cotton woven, a thinner fabric, you may decide you wanna do that. And while you're here, you can measure 1 inch and add some tape to just prep those all. But I'll wait so they're in the sewing video. All right, and then I can cut my base since it's that same width. Base, yep. Lining, zipper pocket, and then we're done. I'm so excited. I can't wait to make this. So I'm gonna grab my 13 by 13 ruler again and cut out my lining for my zipper pocket. Okay. And this does not have to be perfect. You just need edges that are somewhat straight. But this is the lining of a zipper pocket. You're not going to see it. If you want to, you can keep some scraps to kind of stabilize your magnetic snaps if you'd like. All right, so the last thing on my cut list was my crossbody top. And I think I might just do a single layer with that leather. I think it might be my best bet. So here's our pile. We're ready to get hardware. This is that strap. So yeah, I think that'll be fine. I'm gonna get the edges butted up right up against each other. It's super soft, it's not really heavy. So I'll just go ahead and keep folding this and then add 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of stitching across that. But I hope you'll join me to sew this together. I'm really excited. I absolutely have loved this pattern since 2019 when I first created it, and I don't think that's changed. So I hope you do too. Bye.